Hey guys, welcome back. This is Jury Rig Garage. I'm Davis. I just wanted to get this quick video out to you guys because unfortunately I haven't uploaded in a bit. I've just been very busy with work and the holidays, and we're coming up on Christmas, as you guys know. I'm also a bit sick. You might hear it on my voice. In this video, I kind of just want to go over some of the things that we're going to be doing in the upcoming year. Next video you see will be in the new year, where we're going to be finishing up the suspension on the Fiero. As of right now, it's actually done. I have all the footage. I just need to go through and edit it and upload, but you'll be expecting that. But now that we're done with the suspension, we're going to move our attention over to the actual 3800 turbo swap for the Fiero. We're going to be putting this built 3800 motor and a turbo system in my 1986 Fiero here. So this is a 86 Fiero GT with the manual. Currently it's got the 4-speed, and we recently redid the headliner. It's also on completely new suspension front and rear. Redid all the control arms, ball joints, sway bars, steering rack, new rear sway bar, custom coilers from ground control, as well as new brakes all around, just to make sure that the chassis is ready for the added power. When I got this thing, it was a death trap, and honestly it's still kind of a death trap even with the new suspension, but I've gotten as prepared as it can be for the new motor. Guess that's not entirely true. I do have one other thing I'm going to be adding to the car. It's these Rodney Dickman aluminum subframe bushings to the car. So right now they're on crappy 37-year-old bushings. I'm sure they've never been replaced. And in the 88 Fieros, they just hard mounted the subframe to the body. So I'm going to do that with the Fiero. We'll just give a little bit more stiffness, a little bit better for the swap overall. I have one other surprise that I'm going to be showing you guys for the swap, and I'm very excited about that. As I mentioned, it currently has a 4-speed auto. Those things are supposedly supposed to be like kind of the strongest stock transmissions you can get for the Fiero. I'm gonna be putting tons of power through it. I want something a bit more modern with extra gears, so you can do a Getrag 5-speed from the Fieros, but that's a bit weaker. Also, like if it breaks, they're kind of hard to repair. There's not many parts made for them anymore. And then there is the F23 5-speed manual transmission that came in the newer Cavaliers, like 2000 to 02. And then you have the F40, which is the 6-speed manual. Those things came in the Pontiac G6s. I believe that's what it came in. They're very hard to find and they're expensive. So I went with the F23. A lot of people say that these things are super strong and robust. So what I'm gonna be doing is installing an EP Performance shift kit in here. So new bushing, selector. This will allow you to mount it in a Fiero and use the shifter cables. This is a used model. You used to be able to buy these new from GM, but I'm very lucky and they just happened to discontinue it like within a month of me purchasing the Fiero. So that kind of sucks. I wish I could have gotten a 0-mile version, but all of the parts manufacturers or the parts sites that I tried buying through, which I tried buying through multiple, probably like half a dozen, I go through the purchase process, they said they have in stock, and then a week later I get an email saying that they're not available. So I had to buy this used one off eBay. The swap for this will be simple. It'll use the stock Fiero axles. I'm gonna get a spec clutch for this thing. With the kind of power that I'm expecting with this, I'll minimum need a spec stage 3+, but I'm probably gonna have to spec out a twin disc clutch for this thing. So guys, order of operation, we're basically done with the stock drivetrain on the Fiero. We're going to, in the new year, be pulling the motor. So similar to what we did with Project F, we're going to lift the body off of the motor and subframe. We're gonna then roll the subframe into the garage here so that I can work on it. I'll be able to mount the transmission however, or the motor and transmission however I need to. I do have the Fiero Raj mounts for the motor. As for the transmission, I might just build my own because they're kind of expensive otherwise. If you guys know of any cheap mounts for the F23 to Fiero, let me know. But as cheap as I could find is probably $300, which I think I can do it myself. So we'll see. I'll mount up the motor, the transmission, then I'll be able to start building out the exhaust. Started partially doing that. I have a bunch of Schedule 10 here, so it's just gonna be Schedule 10 custom manifolds, turbo logs for the turbo system. Got a new oil pan here with a -10 bung. I'll weld in for the return. Then lastly, I got a Chinese turbo up on the shelf there. I'll be able to use that first just to kind of get me by before I buy the big turbo I want to go with. This is just kind of to get me started with the tuning with the car, which leads me to my next topic. Fiero is going to be powered by a Holly Terminator X. So this is an LS harness. It'll be able to be adapted to the 3800. I'll just need to get a 3800 harness, swap over the sensors, and do some custom configuration inside the Holly, and I'll be able to run this thing. Now to explain why I have LS coils here. So custom fabricated these valve covers, EZP, aluminum, and then I got LS coil brackets, cut them up, welded them on. They're also removable with these standoffs here. And if we're going with big power, I wanted big fuel rails, so I got Dash 8 fuel rails. These things were originally LS fuel rails that I chopped, drilled and tapped, and they actually line up with the injectors here. Then I made custom hold down brackets for both sides, and I air tested these things and they were holding pretty high pressure with no leaking. For the intake, I just have a supercharger case with a ZZP block off, North Star throttle body. The cool thing about this is I'm able to seriously hog out this thing. I welded shut the ports for PCV. I need to go back over and do another weld, but I mean, as you can see, this thing is pretty cut up. And not just that, I was able to take out a lot of material here with some hole saws. My next plan for this is I'm actually going to take a Sawzall and cut out this section here. I'll be able to remove way more material. This will just allow way more airflow in here. The supercharger case itself is pretty restrictive, so once I have that, the only restrictions will be the individual runners themselves here, which I do plan on cutting this up too. We're also going to be dropping the fuel tank and swapping out the sending unit in there. We're going to be replacing the pump with something stronger and lines, everything to fit up with this. I have a regulator over there as well. And I'll be sure to route the lines so the car does not catch fire like many other Fieros. Once we have all that done, we'll be able to put the new motor, transmission, subframe back up into the Fiero. We'll start wiring up the Holly ECU. We'll be able to keep some of the controls, so I'll keep like the window switches and fans and other stuff stock, so I'll be able to use that, but the engine, transmission, whatever, will be ran completely off the Holly, and then I'll start learning how to tune this thing. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to put this thing in the Fiero. I just can't wait to start tearing into the car and swapping it over. One of my favorite times was when I was working on Project F, the Camaro that Tristan had, you know, just working on it every day, a little bit at a time. I'm really hoping I'll be able to put out consistent content for you guys this coming year. I really want to get this swap done. I want to show you guys the process. I know you guys enjoy the more frequent content, like 2 videos a week or even 1 video a week. I've been kind of struggling to even do 1 video a week, which kind of sucks. I do have a full-time job. You know, many of you guys can relate to what I go through where you want to work on your stuff, but you know, you got to take care of the job first. So I'm really going to try to put more effort into the channel, but I do want to thank you guys for watching. I know a lot of you have stuck around through the entire channel. I know a lot of, you know, there's a lot of old viewers. I also know there's a lot of new viewers. So I do appreciate you guys. I'm very excited for what 2024 will bring for the channel, being able to get the Fiero up and other potential projects. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to join us as a channel member down below if you want to support us. Otherwise, subscribe, comment, like the video, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.